Hi guys, I'm here with Bernard. It's a long time no see, Bernard. How you doing, mate?
I'm fine, mate. Tired, but I'm fine.
Good to hear. At least you're fine. We're not. We're here to review the Liverpool. Sorry, not the Liverpool title triumph. We're not here to do that, guys. No. We're here. I mean, look, that's the end result of last night's defeat to Chelsea. Chelsea 2, Manchester City 1. Goals from, was it Pulisic and Willian from the penalty spot for Chelsea. City got a wonder strike from KDB, free kick, and a red card for Fernandinho. And obviously, by not winning, it's handed Liverpool the title. And personally, I'd have liked to have won last night. I'd have liked to have beat Liverpool at our place, just delay a little bit longer. But it is what it is. It's happened. They've had their party, and we'll talk about all that other stuff another time, what went wrong and what we need to do. But we're really here to talk about that game last night. So I'm going to ask you an unusual thing first. If you were giving marks out of 10 for the overall performance, what would you give for last night?
Well, I mean, obviously my basic is 6, isn't it? And I found it so reminiscent of so many of the games we've talked about when we've been doing our Premier League reviews, where we've dominated possession and stuff. I mean, you're sort of talking. I still sort of scored around 6 for players as my base. Yeah. I mean, there's only one player who really dropped below that. You probably will know who that is, but. So yeah, because overall it was okay-ish, but it was just bang average, and it's a normal game for us against top opposition, which Chelsea are at the moment as far as the league's concerned.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. We've had so many performances this season against poor teams like Arsenal, Burnley. We absolutely whooped them, and I feel fans get carried away that we're wonderful again. And I thought each of those performances weren't brilliant for me. The last one beating Burnley 5-0, okay, there were some individual fantastic performances, but overall, when your opposition's poor, it's not a proper test. Opposition was good, Chelsea. Chelsea were more resolute at the back and more disciplined, and they got better players as well. But we created so many chances going forward, which we didn't stick away. And I've said this many times for the last 2 seasons, and that is a big concern of mine. I mean, how much of it a concern is yours that we're just not clinical? And I think we can turn around and say we had 6 decent chances last night, let's say, and we only scored 1 goal.
Well, it's the same, isn't it? I mean, we're talking. I think we've go back 3 or 4 years since Pep's there. I mean, we've got away with it, haven't we? We've got away with Aguero. Then we brought Jesus in, and we seemed to get away with it. We had midfielders on form, didn't we? Who were scoring goals, and we did get away with it because you can't keep that up. And obviously, it's been proven this season that you just can't keep it up. At the end of the day, I'm totally now Aguero's gone again. Who've we got? We've got nothing. If our Sterling isn't hitting the back of the net like he was obviously until the last game. Who were relying on KDB to do his free kicks. It's just we don't have anyone there we can rely on in a crisis. And Pep seems that he likes his goal-scoring midfielders, but unfortunately this season most of the midfielders just haven't done it apart from KDB.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now who's got a lot of goals from midfield. David Silva hasn't, Gundogan hasn't, and Foden hasn't. He's not played enough. It's a bit low on numbers, and we had. Well, I mean, looking at yesterday, we had plenty of chances. I mean, briefly, we had Bernardo, who's really, for me, dropped off the ball. That's been a big disappointment this season. I thought at his age, the way he played last season, it was just unbelievable. I assumed he'd carry on, and I think he's dropped off. He had an early chance, which he fluffed. Mahrez had I think, a very good chance from that free kick, which he hit over the bar, where if you put it anywhere near the corner, it would have been a goal. No keeper was stopping that. We had a couple of good crosses from Mendy, where there was no one in the box to stick it away. And in the second half, obviously, we had the wonder strike from KDB. We had that chance from Sterling that hit the post. When I'm still going to argue, and I'll ask you this in a minute, because I think he should have passed to Mahrez. And we had another chance from Sterling, which went wide. So there's 7 chances. I'm going to talk about 2 of them. Let's talk about 2 of them. Let's talk about KDB's goal. Let's talk some positive first. KDB's goal. Out of when we talk about out of this world, for KDB right now, we need something bigger than this world, because that was an amazing free kick.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, obviously, he had the distance from goal as well, didn't he, to allow him to give it plenty of air, because he must have got a good 10 or 15 feet above the wall from what I could see. I mean, he didn't just go over the heads. It was actually certainly a man's height again over the wall's heads. And Kepa, I don't know. I mean, obviously, Kepa was positioned correctly. He was in the right part of the goal. And then he just sort of gave up, didn't he? I'm not even bothering. But I mean, what can you do? Because he put so much loft on it, and it came down so well. I mean, Kepa just thought, oh well, let it go.
Well, he couldn't save it. I don't think anybody could have saved it, even if he started running as soon as he kicked the ball. No. Okay, what do you think of that Sterling moment? Do you think it? I'll give him my opinion. What do you think? He hit the post. Should he have passed, or was he right?
I did my little vlog this morning. I mean, I looked at the thing, and what we do and what we make the mistake of is try and walk the ball in the goal. Don't we? Every single time we take that extra pass, and when we get the opportunity where we can make an extra pass, where it's an open goal for a player, what do? We don't do it. I mean, we criticised Harry Kane for not passing to Sterling in that World Cup, didn't we? But I mean, Sterling was just absolutely. I mean, if it's Sergio Aguero, I would expect him to strike the goal. But out of 10, Sterling would pass it, because that's what he does, and he didn't do it. He absolutely. Perhaps he thought it was a goal. Perhaps he was so confident, and that's fair. And it looked like a goal to me. I was dead surprised when he hit the post. I thought it was going in the net, but. Yeah, he should have passed to Mahrez, so can't, I've got to blame him. He's got to take the blame.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. And I use the Harry Kane thing as well. We still lambast him 2 years on for not passing. I think we'll forget about the Sterling one a bit quicker, but for me, at that point, we were all over Chelsea that second half, and we missed that. We fluffed it. So, I mean, on one hand, we've got these missed chances, and I think that I went through 6 or 7 where some of them were really, really good. And on the other side, what we do, we make some absolute cock-ups. I mean, if we were playing Sunday League, we'd have the manager on our backs for some of the stuff we do. And I don't want to go through it all, because we'll be here for another 10 minutes, but we are consistently making. And it comes to that thing where Sterling didn't pass. We're making wrong decisions. We're making poor decisions, bad decisions. I mean, I'll go through just a few, and this is not an exhaustive list. There were 2 chances in the first half that Chelsea had. There was one where it was like just pinballing around our box, where they had actually about 5 or 6 men up, and we had about 5 back. And at the time, I was screaming. KDB was jogging and then walking back. There was no effort, no busting of a gut. And I don't know how he got out to, was it Barkley, and he had a shot, and he got smothered. And it's just like, our defence was all over the place. There's another one, a cross came in. Fernandinho, I think, stuck his leg out. He missed it. Laporte got to it, but he hit it straight to Barkley. Very weak clearance. And sometimes you just know what's going on. And obviously the goal. Do you want to talk us through that goal, that Chelsea's first goal?
Well, I don't know. I mean, my lad said he was watching it, and he saw before the ball came to Mendy that Gundogan was telling Mendy to get further back from him, because they were chatting to each other. They were a couple of yards from each other. I don't know. They weren't very far away. But Mark said he saw him gesticulating to Mendy to say, give space sort of thing. Yeah. So I haven't seen that myself, and I'm not sort of sitting back at all to confirm that. But as I say, it was just, I have no idea, because Gundogan wasn't switched on to it. I mean, Mendy was obviously just trying to pass it to him. But again, it was 2 yards away. Why did he need to pass it? I don't understand it. It's a lack of concentration. That's what dogballs all this season. A lack of concentration by senior players. We're not talking the kids. We're not talking Taylor Howard-Bellis and Garcia and Foden. We're talking seasoned professionals here. Absolutely, Otamendi's obviously been the worst all season for it, and it's just not good enough, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, my take was that Mendy should have controlled it, and if he wanted to pass it, then pass it. But he did it all in one movement, And I think Gundogan was going the other way, and he was slightly off balance. But then meant, okay, you can make a mistake.
And the thing that Ray, if we could just say, the thing that makes it worse is he had a chance to get back. He had a chance to sort it out, and he got sold. I mean, a junior player wouldn't get sold like that. So he had a second bite of the cherry, if you like, and he let whatever he's called, Pulisic. He let Pulisic just little fade, and he sort of got as he's not Sunday league play. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us agree he should have just stood him up, stopped him for even half a second or a second, because Gundogan was coming back. He wasn't, slouching about, and I think another defender was coming back as well. So, and that's so frustrating, because all Mendy had to do was stand him up for a second, and in that second, Gundogan and whoever else would have been there, goal side. Then if Mendy wants to foul him, he can foul him. You're not going to get sent off, and it was just. And it's a huge disappointment, because we were hoping that Mendy would get back to some level that he was in the first 2 seasons before he got injured. And we were, and people were saying, should we keep him? Should we not? And I said, let him play the season. Hopefully, he'll have a good end to the season and show us what he's really made of. But last night, making those 2 errors, he made another error in the second half. I think he's crossing. Sorry, but apart from those 2 really fizzed-in crosses along the floor, which was known to me, he put some way too high and too long. And so it was a huge disappointment. And then in the second half, we had more of the same. Chelsea were relying on our mistakes. We had that clearance off the line from Walker. We had that handball from Fernandinho, which is like, I'll cut him some slack, because obviously he's been great for us, and it was a silly moment from him. We had another one that was scrambled off the line. I don't know how we saved that. Edison was there and someone else, and then we had another run down the line where Mendy stuck his leg out, and I think Laporte didn't go with the runner, who was probably Mason Mount. We had Edison passing to Mason Mount and said, "Come on, mate, have a shot." And fortunately, Mason Mount hit it into the side netting. We had, towards the end, tons and tons of chances. We had KDB trying to foul the man on half-heartedly on the side. If you're going to foul a man, do it properly. And it just was shambolic. I think I said it was at the end that we were shambolic. How on earth can we try to make up 20 points on Liverpool if we're going to defend in midfield like that?
Well, to be honest with you, based on what I saw last night and what I've seen in the papers with Chelsea, I mean, they look a far more challenging proposition to Liverpool than we will be next season, even if we have 2 or 3 players, to be honest with you. I'm a bit worried about Pep's, how Pep is at the moment. I'm a bit worried about this Lilo guy who's joined us. I just think we're in a bit of chaos. And with this thing next week, is it early July, this Champions League? I think we're going to have a couple of years of nothing, of dodginess until we sort out what's going on with Pep and what's going on in the future. I just think it's all up. Look, we've got 2 trophies to go for, haven't we, this season? Yeah. Let's go for those. But I do worry sort of about the future just at the moment.
Yeah, because obviously the uncertainty with Pep, uncertainty with the Champions League, we might not get a couple of transfers because of that. Because there's talk of Koulibaly, I don't know how you want to say it. He's 29. Would he come if we're banned for 2 years and say, some of the best years of your career, you won't be playing in the Champions League, and then we have to wait to qualify in 2 years' time, so you'll be 31. Will Pep still be here? Will a new manager be here who doesn't like you? You could end up throwing your Champions League career away. So why would you take that risk? I don't think we'll make any signings until we have a firm idea what's going on. But that malaise is, we've really dropped off. And it's not just losing. I think a lot of it is losing company. We're going to lose David Silva as well. We need some leadership. Where's that going to come from? Can you see anyone besides KDB who's going to provide that leadership, or do we have to get a new leader from outside?
I honestly, I love KDB to bits. and I think he's the best we've got as a captain. But I don't think he's a natural leader. I think he's too sulky for one thing. I think he gets too upset about things. I don't think, you've got to be positive as a leader. When things are going bad, it's no good whinging at the referees. You've got to be on top of things. And KDB's too much of a. If things aren't quite going, his bottom lip comes out, I think, and stuff.
Yeah.
So I really, but I just don't think there's anyone of that caliber there in the team at the moment. Certainly, obviously, that can do it. That's young, if you like. There may be a couple in the future, but certainly no one. We're going to have to bring someone in, but who that will be, I don't know.
I mean, it's usually you wouldn't. It's very strange to bring somebody in as a new signing and then make him club captain. But so I think the natural next captain will be KDB. And if David Silva got it for this season, which I thought was a romantic decision because it's his 10th season, I think KDB will get it next season. I can't see it. I'm trying to look around the pitch. Who can I see as a leader? Potentially Laporte, because he's another player who's always going to play in the big games. Fernandinho's 35. It's certainly not Gundogan. I really can't look and right. It's certainly not Aguero and the wingers, and it's a real concern. Another problem area is left back, and we saw Mendy was, I think the phrase is bobbins last night. Zinchenko wasn't any better. Really wasn't much better. How long? Well, we can't. I was going to say, how long can we get away with square pegs in round holes? But like Zinchenko playing at left back, but we can't anymore. If we, what are we going to do to resolve these problems? Because it's not just a matter of buying players. It's got to be more than just your signings. It's got to be something to do with your philosophy, your tactics. We don't press as much as we were doing 2 seasons ago. We don't have the ball as much around the midfield and control it as much. And when we do control it, Chelsea were getting absolutely slaughtered in that second half when we stepped it up and we looked like a proper team. We looked like we should be in second spot, challenging for the title. So I'm throwing these questions at you, and it's all these imponderables. How are we going to turn this around? Because 20-odd points, I don't see Liverpool, and I said this at the start of this season, I said we need at least 90 points to win the league this season. And it's proved to be. And I think the same next season. If you want to win the league, could be 90 points. Like you say, Chelsea, they look a very good unit. I mean, last night you didn't have Ruben Loftus-Cheek playing. You didn't have Callum Hudson-Odoi playing. There's another fella on the bench. I forgot who that was now. You didn't have Tammy Abrams didn't start. They've got Ziyech. Looks like they're getting Timo Werner. They might be getting Ben Chilwell, whether you think he's good enough or not. United, however much you want to hate them, they're pulling out results on a regular basis now. And, you could see that situation where United challenge, Chelsea challenge, and 90 points is what you need. Are we going to be able to get that next season?
No. I mean, how can we get that? How can, as I say, with so much hanging over, I just can't. No, it's negative, and we've been wonderful, fantastic, brilliant, but we're thinking of the future now, aren't we? And I think there's too much hanging over us at the moment. If Pep says, right, I'm staying for another 4 years, I'm going to build, start building, we're going to start buying players, I'd have more confidence. But at this time, what really upsets me more than anything is this season, we've not really done it in the league, but he's not blood any of the real youngsters either. He's brought them in bits and bobs, but we should have been trying 2 or 3 of the youngsters on a more permanent. Perhaps Phil's made that breakthrough now, finally, hopefully. Wishfully, but there's still other players he needs to start bringing through on a more, he's got to accept things, Pep. I mean, I think he stayed with his old trusted, didn't he, far too often this season, with his old trusted ideas, and sometimes it's let us down, unfortunately. Where, perhaps a little bit of young blood might have just helped us for the odd game, and he's not sort of done that. I think he's looked at his trophy cabinet and wanted to guarantee another couple of trophies somewhere along the line, and it's cost us in short term. It's not really cost us because we got one in the cabinet, another couple to go for. But it was going to. I think Fergie's last season. If you think about Fergie when he last won the league, he sort of looked at that as his swan song. He didn't really look at the future. And I think Pep in a little way is doing a similar sort of thing. He's he's sort of in it now, and he's really thinking about how City are going to go in the future, which tells me that he won't be there for more than next year, which is guaranteed to be, unfortunately. And he's sort of just trying to win what he can while he's there.
Yeah, it's like trusting his old guard. I mean, it was nice to see 4 kids on the bench yesterday. Was it Taylor Howard-Bellis, Cole Palmer, Tommy Doyle, and there was another one which slips mind. I'm sure there was 3 or 4 kids on the bench, and I would have loved to see somebody come on. Would have loved just somebody to get a run at. And that's another concern, I think, to try and start to wind up is, yes, they got on the bench, but partly they got on the bench because obviously Aguero's injured. Bravo is kind of out of thingy. We've got Carson there last night. And Foden wasn't included at all. So some of the kids were included. I'm not sure how much game time they'd get. And my worry is that some of them, unless Foden, if that had been somebody else, not a City fan, would Foden have hung around this long? Will Jayden Braff hang around this long? We know Foden will stick around. We know Tommy Doyle will. But will Cole Palmer, or I don't know where his allegiances lie. You know, we saw with Brahim Diaz, eventually he left. Sancho left. Jayden Braff could leave. And are we at risk by not blooding them, by Pep's, in your opinion, short-termism, at risk of losing some top talent?
Well, that's it. And I don't think he's going to. I don't think Pep's too long in the tooth now to change his philosophy. I mean, he's obviously not all of a sudden going to start throwing these lads in, is he? He's not even. He doesn't even tend to do it unless he has to in cup games, does he? Yeah. Let's be honest about it. He does play a lot more youngsters in cup games, but when he gets to the nitty gritty, he sort of bottles it and goes back to his old guard sort of thing when it comes down to the. Which is fair enough. I mean, you know, we're all grateful for what we've won, but I don't think while Pep's there, the youngsters are gonna get a go, and perhaps they can see an end to it. Perhaps they can think something better in the corner as well. So perhaps we'll be okay. But it's even for the younger players, it's all up in the air as well, isn't it? Never mind the older players who are worried about Champions League. You know, KB, I'm worried about 2 years missing. It's the younger players are just as important as well. As you say, they've got to look at their future as well, and perhaps they're waiting and seeing as well. Some of them what's going to happen over 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, I mean, you look at someone like Phil Foden. I mean, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, under-17 World Cup. You know, he was lifting the trophy. He was man of the tournament, scored 2 goals in the final, whirled at his feet. I think he come in on the Carabao Cup final for about 30 seconds and got his medal. And Jadon Sancho was, Jadon Sancho's club pulled him back from the last couple of games and then never played him in Germany. And then in the last 2 years, we've seen what's happened with Sancho. He's zoomed forward. He's an important part of the England squad. There's talk of him being worth 80 to 100 million quid. And it's exploded for him. He's seen someone like Mason Mount come through in the last season, you know, a season at Derby and now a season at Chelsea, where after 4 games for Chelsea, he was part of the England squad, and now he's there as an integral, I think, part of the England squad. And he's seen these other players come through, and he's still lagging behind. And if you'd asked us 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, which of these 3 players was the best, I think we'd all say Phil Foden. But he, you know, and I think we're lucky that he's a City fan, because otherwise could he have done the same? So that's a concern of mine. Are there any positives you can take from last night then? I mean, you know, we're a bit, I don't want to be doom and gloom to finish the show. Is there any positives we can take out?
Yeah, the only positive I can think, I think Pep's and this new guy's got. I saw that his new assistant, and he looked quite animated last night. I was quite happy with that. He was sort of seemed to be telling sort of, not lecturing Pep, but obviously giving some good advice. Look at that last night, I must admit, and I think that he knows we're, you know, all right. We need probably another 3 or 4 wins in the Premier League to guarantee second spot. So hopefully we don't find out in the next couple of weeks. It doesn't matter anyway. But I think they may have plans for this little Champions League thing. It'll be interesting to see what sort of team he plays at Newcastle on Sunday. That's gonna be a strange one. I put in Carson to play in that game because I think he needs to have a goal, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting. I think he may have something up his sleeve, but defensively, I think that's where we're gonna be caught out, because I don't know what he's got up his sleeve as far as the defense is concerned. Because I just don't got it there.
But the thing is that Newcastle game is a game we've got to win. You know, I'm not. You know, it's not that the season's over and petering out. We've got to win it because it's the FA Cup. We're 3 wins away from winning the trophy. It's the FA Cup, and if you're there as a serial trophy winner, you've got to take it seriously. You can't save your bag until the Champions League. So you know, for me, it's got to be the strongest team. It's got to be Gabby J. It's got to be Phil Foden. If he's saving Phil Foden, and he was not injured last night, and he's saving him for this game, then he's got to play. It's got to be your best team for me. It's like almost the team that started against Arsenal could be your best team. But you know, it does feel a bit. I wouldn't say the word is despondent. We're a bit down, I think, because obviously, you know, we've had a good trot. Let's be clear. We've had 2 fantastic seasons, and you know, it's just that Liverpool have come and usurped us, and you know, it hurts.
Yeah, we shouldn't say it hurts, but you know, there's a few good Liverpool fans out there. There's a few idiots, but obviously any big club like that, I'll have a lot of idiots anyway, won't we? But yeah, of course it. But you know, we've heard all the plaudits today from the players, and you know, we're going to come back and get our title next season. You heard all this, don't you? This what you hear the sort of sound bites and all this sort of thing. But we've had a good. I mean, I'll be happy with the League Cup and FA Cup and. Hey, Champions League on this knockout thing will sound. I'm quite excited. If we can get past Real Madrid in this second leg, I'm quite excited for this knockout thing. To be honest with you, I sort of it's more exciting Champions League.
Well, if you think about it, the knockout. I think this is my final point. If you think about the knockout, in the last 3 seasons we've played in the Carabao Cup, and apart from the semi-final, they're knockouts. So we've gone 3rd, 4th. So we played 4 games that are knockout games in the Carabao Cup. For the last 3 seasons, we won 12. FA Cup, this season we played 3rd, 4th, 5th, 3 games, I think. And last season we played, 6? So we've got another 9 there. So we've, in our last, something like 17 knockout games. And let's throw the Community Shield in, because they're knockout games. So for the English Super Cup, you know, we've not done badly at knockout games. And it'll be exciting for that reason. Certainly better than this idea that we might have to play Real Madrid at a neutral venue. They won't come to Manchester, the cheeky so-and-sos, and we lose our advantage. I don't know how to finish this video. Is there anything positive you can tell me, Bernard? Give me hope.
Yeah, I think we're going to win the FA Cup and the Champions League. So we'll do a nice little treble. That's positive. That's
positive there. And on that note, I've got to thank you, Bernard, for taking time in your busy schedule to chat with us. And let's hope.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. And let's just hope that next season we will be able to go back to games as fans at some point in a reasonable manner, rather than this ridiculous idea of them having just boxes. I know I will do that. Just having boxes there, easy to manage, and you know, boxes bringing in a lot more than us mere ordinary punters. But hey, Bernard, have a safe one. Have you know, a good day, good weekend. Let's roll on the weekend, and hopefully, will you be watching the Newcastle game? Or will you be working?
Oh, absolutely. I'll be. Yeah, I mean, I don't work in. I mean, I'll just doze off in the day, but I mean, I'll be awake at 6:30. It's 6:30 kickoff, so it's an early one, which isn't too bad. So I don't get 2 hours sleep like I'd normally do on a night game. So that's not too bad. So yeah. I'm happy with that.
Right, Bernard, mate, you look after yourself, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
See you guys. See you later.